How often do you exercise your mind? Do you do it as often as you exercise your body? Do you do it at all? If you do not exercise your mind first and foremost over your body, you're going at your life backwards. Because everything starts from the mind. The mind is where you are. It's everything where you are. The body is just a placeholder for the middle of your mind. Your mind expands out past your body and comes back into it. Your body is just what is covering the void that lies inside that all of this energy is spinning around. So we can have this experience of life in this world that we spin around on our finger. In this video, I'm going to tell you an exercise for your mind, because we're all about mental prowess here. We're all about expanding your mental vision, imagination to be able to manifest, create whatever you are looking to create. And I mentioned this in my last video, which you can go check out here if you're interested, that I was going to tell you the exercise that I was talking about in it. And I'm going to give you 2 ways that I utilize this exercise myself. And before I get into that, I want to, 1, tell you what exercise actually means and why it's so prominent that you focus exercising your mind above all else. And 2, how this exercise assisted me with regaining my imagination in a profound way. So let's start with exercise. It's exercise. It's Xers. Who are the Xers? The ones who stand on the X. Who stands on the X? The ones who are over the treasure, because the treasure is buried where the X is. That's where your mind is. It's where the X is. It's the crossing point into what isn't there. It's a marker. The X actually comes from the cross. If you put a cross up or just look at a tree that has similar crossings of 2 points, look at the ground away from where the sun is shining and look at its shadow. It's an X. Because out of the cross comes the X. Because your imagination is Jesus Christ, who was on the cross, that imbued his manifestations, yours, onto the cross, and then they grew out of the ground. Because the treasure's on the other side. That's where your imagination is. It's a secret. It's a secret that no one else out here on YouTube even knows, because I came up with that. And I came up with that by using this exercise that I'm going to share with you. Exercise has everything to do with X. X has everything to do with crossing into something. This is why I use so many X terms, because it has to do with movement into something else. It's the point that you are transitioning into something else, which is the point that people have the most issue with keeping balance through, staying calm, staying contained and together. Most people, when they reach this point of a crossing, they come into chaos, because that's what X can be about. It's exciting. But how do you see excitement? It depends on how you see disorganization, because that's excitement. It's just not excitement that is organized in a way that many people would be able to associate with it. It's still excitement though. This goes in the last video I did, making things good or bad. It's not good or bad, it's just excitement. When we choose that it's one of these things, that's when we can disassociate ourselves from it, and that's when it begins tough for us to do something with it. Or easy, depending on how we're looking at it. Because it goes both ways. If you are going to cleanse, drink this. Cucumber, distilled water, lemon, parsley. Grow it in your garden. Get it local, if possible. This is going to assist you with also what I talked about in one of my recent videos with you drinking distilled water for 1 whole month. That was actually the last video. That was something else I had mentioned in it. So, to continue on, how did this exercise assist me? It assisted me greatly. I didn't know it at the time. So, to give you a brief overview, I've been studying occult, esoteric, spiritual knowledge for over a decade at this point. Before that, I sat in my room, played video games 8 to 10 hours a day, sat on the computer at the same time, watched TV, and worked in IT. So I stared at screens from multiple different areas constantly. That was in my early adulthood, we'll call it. I was adulterated. I got a degree. And during this process of me ingesting all of these screens and all of this flickering coming off of it, because screens flicker, that's the biggest problem with them, is the flickering. It causes chaos in your mind. It ruined my imagination, just as screens are doing to the children now. They have no imagination, they have no cognitive ability, honestly. I don't even know if some of them have a soul. Which is sad to say, but it's the truth. You can't even have a conversation with a lot of children. When I say children, I mean beings that are 20 years have been here. They just stare at TikTok and look at screens and shorts, and they have no attention span. And I didn't fall victim to that because none of this stuff was around to this extent then. But I was on all kinds of screens, but I worked in IT, so I never got into a lot of stuff because people who work with computers, they don't get into the social media and those type of things that much because it's not for them necessarily, because they're into other things with computers that they're being attached to. Regardless, it destroyed my imagination from staring at these screens. I used to have a very vivid imagination. I would daydream constantly because I was disassociating myself from school and whatever was going on at the time. Well, I didn't realize this happened because, as with all of us, many of us, this has happened. And it's such a slow process that it gets stripped away from us. We don't even realize this is happening because we get associated with everything around us. And that's what we end up doing because we think this is what we are supposed to be doing. We're supposed to assimilate ourselves into the system and be a part of the machine. Walk left, right. Make sure you stand in a straight file line. It ruins your imagination because they give you no opportunity to let it loose, except in art, which even in art, when it's given to you, there's so much restriction to it. And when I started to gain all this knowledge, about 8 to 9 years ago, I came across Neville, Goddard, ALLways, and quite a few other spiritual mystics. And I already knew about the law of attraction. I already knew about manifestation. These two individuals, though, speak about life in very profound ways, and each of them have the key to what you need. Neville has your imagination, ALLways has your balance. Because there's nothing to do except for what you choose. And during this, I was also eating completely different. I was eating healthy. I was going from thinking I was eating healthy to eating all organic and clean ingredients to going vegetarian, not eating meat, not eating any animal products then. No, I'm not vegan, because that's vacant. It means you're empty. You have no soul is what vegan means. Don't call yourself that. You're joining a cult. And I ended up eating all fruit for 1 whole year. And while I was doing that, I was also making YouTube videos this whole entire time. I have over 600 YouTube videos on my channel. They're mostly all hidden. I left 2 up, I think, 2 or 3 up before I started releasing all of these. And I hid them all because the audio quality is terrible. So I got this microphone now. Sounds much, much better. So you can actually hear what I'm saying. Because what I'm saying is highly important, which is why I stopped making videos for a while. Because I want people to hear what I have to say, because no one else has what I have to say, because no one else came up with it besides me. It is coming out of me. It's a culmination of what I have experienced and what my conscious delivers. I'm just the receiver here. And I'm giving it to you. While I was eating all fruit, my imagination just started to pop. I was having the most vivid dreams possible. And then I decided at a point, I'm taking over my dreams. I'm not going to allow my dreams anymore to just proceed as they do. I decided I'm going to take control of my dreams, and I'm going to utilize that to visualize my next day. That's how this started. I did not know that I was creating an exercise that was going to push my imagination and ability to create a whole entire life in my mind out of it. So the exercise that I did, which before I get there, if anyone wants me to go more into me, I can go much more in depth of how I came to be and came across what knowledge I've ingested for me to be the speaker that I am now. Leave a comment down below. Let me know. I'll do a whole whatever, how long it takes video. I'll even edit it. I'll make it nice and pretty. If you all want to see that. If you all want to hear that, let me know. Leave a comment. So the exercises, there's 2. Which you could come up with more ways to do this. Which if you do, leave a comment. Tell us so that we can all utilize the technique of how you came up to utilize this. All you need to do is use your imagination when you lay down. And this is the most prominent thing that Neville Goddard talks about. This is what he focuses on, is you visualizing when you lay down and go to sleep, as he calls it. But what I did was I focused specifically on my next day. And I worked in IT, and I was an on-site technician. So I knew for the most part, I had a schedule that I would follow. I knew for the most part what I was doing every day. I would go through, because I was familiar with these clients. I'm familiar what I was going to do. I'm very good at anything and everything I do, especially IT. Technology, we'll just say. And I would imagine and project my next day from the point I get up and rise to when I lay down. And I would go through everything because I was familiar with my day, because it was very ritualistic at that point, because I was completely focused on my health. So I was in a very ritualistic, mannered day-to-day where it's very repetitious, which is what you want when you're looking to manifest something profound, because it's going to allow you to focus more energy on your imagination and stop potential distractions or you focusing on something else for even just a moment. It causes you to lose the visualization, even just for just a moment, will cause some type of disruption. So I would every night lay down, visualize my next day fully. Every on-site I was going to, the people that I would talk to, the conversations that I would have, what I would say, how I would say it, what I would be doing driving or traveling in the automobile from client to client, what music I might listen to, what I might listen to otherwise. Maybe I'm not, at that point, honestly, I probably wasn't even listening to anything. It was my mind. There was years I didn't listen to anything because my mind is all I needed. And still is. It's all anyone needs. You are, you are the entertainment. You are everything. And in doing this, because this is something so familiar with you, that you could get so detailed with it. Even if you can't do the whole entire day, do as much as you can. Visualize as much of your upcoming day as you can when you lay down every single night until you have it, until you realize that what you're visualizing is exactly what's happening. Because that's what happened with me. And once you realize that, use it for other things. Because now you've just mastered your ability to project your next day into existence. If you can do that, you can take that and do anything with your imagination. Because you have the visualization and feeling and senses imbued back into your imagination at that point. You've got it all connected. You're conscious. It's just a matter of that point, focusing it correctly to what you want and not allowing mental paradigms from your past to sneak up on you, whisper in your ear that you can't do that because it's not possible in this realm, allegedly. Anything's possible. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So it completely changed what I was able to visualize, how I was visualizing, and how my day was, which completely changed me at that point because I now could project anything. So I actually started consciously then, decided I'm gonna help my relatives because I couldn't talk to them about what I knew because they didn't want to. They didn't want to know. They didn't care about what I knew regarding health. They didn't care what I knew regarding just how nature operates, how we even exist, why we exist, what we're doing here. Yet, I still felt that I needed to assist them in some way. So I, every day, started laying down and consciously having a conversation with them while I rested through the night, which at this point, I was resting 4 to 5 hours, maybe, because I was eating all fruit. I was flying with energy. And I was in a climate where it was blazing. I was always in the sun, so I was vibrating really high at this point, which is where a lot of my best videos and things that I know came out, or started at least. And I would speak to them about things that I knew that could assist them, and they would listen because we're in dream world. So they're gonna listen because anything's possible in dream world. That's the other way you can use this. You can assist people. Just visualize yourself speaking to someone that you look to assist. Who do you want to assist? Is it a relative? Is it family member or a friend that you have. Who is it? I'm sure there's someone you want to assist. If you can't speak to them directly, use your imagination and visualize it. When you are laying down, just have that conversation with them, with what you know, and just allow them to take it in, because they will. And wait and be patient, because eventually they will get that message sent to them in this realm, and they will respect you. I promise you, because everyone that I did that with now has very high respect for me and reverence for me, which they did not at that point. Not at all. I had to actually tell my mother to back off with things at that point, and other relatives, because they were trying to encroach on what I was doing because they didn't agree with it. Which, I don't care if you agree with it, don't try to encroach on me. I'm gonna push you away. Now though, after I did that and I just let it be, relationships are good. I have respect. I respect them, they respect me. And they even will ask me things now sometimes, or have conversations with me that they would not have before. They would have scoffed at. This world is changing, baby. We're getting high out here on the air. Frequency. We're frequently visiting nature so we can see the beauty of it. If you do this exercise, how I laid it out, and you stick with it as long as you need to, because I did this for months. I couldn't even tell you, because I wasn't doing it to quantify anything in any way, shape, or form in time. And most of the things that I did, I didn't pay attention to time. It was always about me doing what it was. So I can't even quantify many things of how long I was doing it, or it took me to see progress in it, because that's not the focus. You can't focus on time, because the time is now. That's all there is. It's only the moment. And if you want to manifest, you can't be focused on time, because it's going to split you apart, and you're going to end up way over there while your body's still here and your mind's over that way. You end up disoriented. You don't know where you are, because you're trying to work on a clock. And that's not how we work. We don't work at all. We just be. So all you need to do is, when you lay down to rest at night, focus your mind on the coming day and make that your dream. And go through every single part of your day. You might not even be able to get through the beginning of it at first, before you end up in dream world and you don't have a lucid experience at that point. You don't have control of it. You can always have control of it. You can take control of it in a snap. Just flip it on its head. You can take control of your dream at any moment, because it's your dream. You can make it lucid at any point. But you need to take control of it, so that then you can consciously project your next day into existence. And you're just going to do this while you rest, because your mind can stay active while you rest. And the more you do this, the more profound you are going to get at bringing that day into realization, and it's actually going to occur. And then you can take that and do other things with it, because your imagination will be full. Your mind will be whole again. It will be a shining light. And then you can use it to assist others, which is what we need to do. We need to assist others. That's why I made my YouTube channel in the first place. 8, 9 years ago, however long it's actually whatever the year it says. When I got a notification recently, it says 6 years. That ain't right. That ain't right at all. Because this channel existed even longer than I was making videos for. That's all you need to do though. That's it. And you'll bring back your imagination and you'll be able to create anything. You'll be able to manifest anything. It's your world. Enjoy it. Make sure you get out in nature though. Oh, listen to the locusts. Oh no, cicadas. No locusts this year, cicadas. And the birds. Breathe it all in.